There's a new app for smartphones and tablets that can help producers organize their soil samples. Here's our colleague Brian Arnall to explain.
So after we get done with harvest, we really need to start making a game plan on soil sampling, what fields you've had soil sampled, and the strategies for that. If you're on a field composite where you're taking one sample for every field, really like to see you in the field every 4th year. So about every 4 years you come back to that field. Have a game plan on what fields that's going to be, but it's just as important not only knowing what field you're going to be in, but getting the right soil sample. So if you're on a field composite, you really should take that probe out there and get 15 to 20 cores over the entire field. Doesn't matter what size the field is, 20 acres or 100 acres, if that's what you're sampling for. And make sure your depth is consistent. You want a 0 to 6 inch sample if you're sending it to the soil testing lab. If you're going to another lab, check to see what their depth recommendations are. Some labs determine rates by 0 to 7 or 0 to 8. So really important to know what depth you're sampling at, and also have that soil probe marked with a permanent marker or something on that level for 0.6 or soil testing. If you're using OSU, we've released a new app that should be helpful for producers keeping track of what they're doing. It's called OSU Soil Testing. It's available on iOS right now, and we'll be releasing Android by the end of June. And in that app, you have two ways to use it. One, if you've a producer that have already printed off your barcodes that are used to go to the lab, you can go out in the field that you plan to sample, and you use your phone to take a picture of that barcode. That barcode puts your customer code and the sample number into the app, along with the phone's current lat long, so GPS coordinates. You save that with any notes, so you can name the field and then it saves it. You can save a list for your sampling, and you can email that list to you later so that you have each sample tied with a location and any notes you may have. If you're taking samples to go into the county office and you don't have that barcodes, you can still use the app. You use it prior to barcode. So it still pulls down your lat long for your GPS and your location. You still apply the notes, but when you go into the county office and they put those barcodes on, you then bring those samples up and you can scan the barcode then, and it'll tie in that barcode to it. So you have a record of what sample goes to what field. This is really also handy in our summer crop this year if you're doing diagnosis. So let's say you go out in the field and you sample a good area and a bad area. You can go in and tie, whether that's soil or tissue, you can tie the sample and say good, Jones 80, bad, Jones 80. So, you know, in a day of soil sampling or crop scouting, I may end up with 10 or 15 soil bags and forage bags in the floor of my pickup. And it very easily gets challenging to figure out which sample goes to where. So this is a nice way to get GPS locations and save that, and then later on create a list and send you yourself that list or whoever you're working with. So most producers in Oklahoma don't have their own customer code. They'll go and take their samples to the county office, which has a customer code, and they have the barcodes already printed off. So in that, the educators can also help keep track. The educators can have this app down and they can keep track of the samples that go through their office if they don't already have a spreadsheet or something. Just one more way to keep track of the samples as they go in, and any identifying notes that go along with those.